know I've been around and doing it, but now it's my time to shine and start proving it. I'm losing it, I'm moving it. The city is where I'm made, Bostonian flow, I kick it a back day. Yeah, I got game, God in a fan way. We the city of the champs, every sport we play. Spit wetter than the harbor, yeah, I'm flowing like the Charles. I be speeding on this beat, call it Turnpike Miles. Yeah, it's Google signing on, John to the Hancock, and I'm always key, I'm ready to unlock. I be doing big things.
Welcome back, everyone, to the newest edition of Once a Week. I'm Billy Gianlutis, and today we're continuing the string of great special guests. I'm excited to bring you someone who truly inspires, empowers, and leaves such a positive impact everywhere he goes. He's a professional speaker, he's an education consultant, he's a minister, he's an author who is changing the lives of students across the world, having spoken throughout the United States, Canada, Nigeria, South and East Africa, with the mission of inspiring students, leaders, and educators to leave their own legacy and never be forgotten. I feel the list of accolades could go on and on, but I want to dive into it with him here and now. Everyone, I give you William Winfield. Will, welcome to the show, man. I've wanted you on here for so long because I know we connect so well. Let's dive into it, man. How you doing?
Man, bro, I am blessed. I am truly grateful, bro, for where, I am at right now, man. Bro, salute to you, man. You out here changing the game, man. So definitely proud of you. I'm just honored to be here, bro.
Hey, that means the world. Hey, we crossed each other's paths in a speaking group. We'll go shout out to Joe and Aaron right now. But we crossed our paths the second we hopped on a call together. We connected, and I've want the energy is always right there. You're creating a positive impact. I'm trying to create a positive impact just as much. But those two forces come together, man. We got something great in store for people today.
That's right, man. Explosion, King, explosion. Yeah.
Right, here we go. Let's dive into it, though. So, like I said, you're such an incredible speaker, man. You are impacting so many students, like I said, across the world right now. But how did that start? How did you find yourself in the speaking world? Because when I see your content, and if people have not, I'm telling you, check him out after this interview. Well, to me, you are like the next Eric Thomas. Your energy, your motivation, your impact, how you help students, how you help people in general, you bring the success, man. So where did that all start for you?
Yeah, man, bro. I tell people all the time, bro, this started at a homeless shelter. Like, I wish I could honestly say, fam, that it started in corporate, in schools, colleges, bro. Unfortunately, that's not what God's path was for me. I think he needed to humble me. And so, bro, I remember, man, like I pulled up to my mom's crib after a divorce. And I still say to this day, I think I have the world's record for the quickest divorce. It was like 6 months, bro. I was like, yeah, this is like, whoa. And, my mom's from Zebulon, North Carolina, so she has a country accent. Now, I'm going to say how she sounds. And if viewers, you laugh at my mom, I'm going to kick y'all in your kneecap. All right? But, my mom's like, baby, what you doing here? I had all my clothes with me and everything. I said, Mom, remember that girl you told me not to, marry? She said, y'all ain't together no more, huh? I said, no, man. She said, I told you that girl was no good for you. I told you. Boy, get your bags and come up here. So I had to stay with my mom, bro, to just get back on my feet. During that process, man, I feel like God was pruning me. God was trying to bring out my heart. God was trying to put me in different scenarios and different obstacles to overcome to really get my attention. And that's when I ended up getting a job that I applied for at the House of Hope, which is a homeless shelter in Rhode Island. And I'll never forget, man, I think like 3 months into the job, there was this one particular client, Anthony Robertson. And, he was upset because he was supposed to get food stamps, housing, all these things that the shelter's promising him, and he didn't get it. So now he's on the verge of trying to kill himself. My boy Jerome Hines was like, yo, Will, I think you should need to go talk to him. I feel like you can reach him. I was like, why do you think that? He said, because you're always on the floor every single night having conversation with the homeless people. I'm like, oh, okay, well, let me go down there. So I went up to him. I said, hey, you all right, man? He's like, nah, I'm not good, man. Leave me alone. I said, no. Talk to me, man. Like, what's going on, man? He's like, man, just life ain't worth living no more. They promising me housing, food stamps. They promised me all these things, and I'm not getting what I want. And I was like, man, listen, you need to take your life, man. You have value. That's all I said to him, Bill. That's all I said, fam.
Yeah.
And literally, I come back 2 weeks later. My boy Jerome, just like deja vu again. He's like, hey, Will, you need to go talk to Anthony. I'm like, oh, Lord, come on, man. Like, again? He's like, yeah. But it's good news this time. You know what I'm saying? I was like, all right, cool. So I go down the stairs, go up the stairs, go to bunk A6 bottom. I said, hey, Ant, what's going on? Immediately he turned around and squeezed me, man. It felt like a combination of Arnold Schwarzenegger and The Rock. And I feel like I still got a fractured rib from him hugging me that hard. Will, I just want to let you know, because of you, because of those words, I didn't take my life. I was like, ooh, words got power. 2 weeks later, Bill, I end up getting an invitation to work at a drug rehab.
Okay.
Now I take the opportunity because my mom is a recovering drug addict. She's 36 years clean by the grace of God. Right?
Wow.
I end up going there and I gave my first presentation, and I'll never forget it, bro. Eagles do not stress the opinions of pigeons. Going there, now mind you, I'm like 22, 23 at this time, fam. I'm walking into this old door, kind of like them old high school doors that screech like, all that stuff. Walking that door closed, boom. I'm like, oh, you can't turn back now, dog. Like, it's on and popping, right? So I walk up there. Now, mind you, I'm 22, 23 at this time. I got 60-year-olds, 50-year-olds, 45-year-olds, 70-year-olds. What am I going to tell them about life, fam? You know, I have not experienced enough life. But I remember the Holy Spirit just pushed me off the cliff and said, just go all in.
Nice.
Be dependent on me. And when I did that, fam, here's the thing. After the presentation, 2 guys in the back that I did not even know were contemplating of leaving the program and ODing. They already had it all planned out. So after the presentation, I walk out. Vanessa, the counselor, comes up to me. She says, hey, Will, you see those 2 guys right there going into the bathroom? I say, yes, ma'am. They want to stay and complete their treatment because of what you said. Whatever you said in there, that's why they're staying. This is what I tell people. To this day, they're still clean. They got their job. They got their kids.
Nice.
Motivation can't do that. Only empowerment can do that. Right?
For sure.
And then from there, bro, I ended up speaking. I'm like, yo, if I can inspire homeless people, if I can inspire recovering drug addicts, if I can inspire adults, surely I can be able to add some value to some students. Well, let's see what we can have. Let's see what we can make shape. And then speaking for Youth Build, a small program in Rhode Island, Providence, Rhode Island. And I remember giving a presentation about the gazelle and the lion mentality. And after the presentation, there was a young kid that came up to me out of the 8 kids that was in the room. He said, hey, well, I just want to let you know, I was about to leave today and go kill somebody. He was in a gang.
Okay.
Will, your words, they empowered me. I don't know what it is about what it is that you said, but it clicked for me. And I want to change my life. We embraced each other with a hug. And I'm like, it's over. And from there, bro, I started speaking everywhere. Corporate, colleges, schools, churches, wherever. That's how it all kicked off, bro.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. I draw so many connections to your story in the sense of, I didn't start in a homeless shelter, but with me, I was working in Brockton, Massachusetts. You're from the area of Brockton, Massachusetts, for just the inner city kids and families. And so many of those situations where so many people, not just kids, but people do not believe that they hold any value from the environments, from the families, from wherever school, whatever it is that they grew up in, that for them to just go about life, it starts to get darker and darker. But when those words can come in, as you did for the homeless shelter, as you did for the youth, as you did for all of these ages, you had these moments, not just where you're bringing value to people and showing them, you're having moments where they start to believe in themselves because you believed in yourself. And that's what I feel the power, the Holy Spirit is right there. That's God right there, where he needs us to see that light shine in ourselves to be able to realize, okay, the lamp beneath your feet, everything, but we're the ones holding the lamp just as much. So when we're shining that light, man, oh my goodness, it makes so much sense why you've elevated to the area you're at right now. It all started from that one homeless area, from that one youth area. I draw so many connections, man, but I love that, Will. You're walking in your power, and I think not too many people find their power, but are able to walk in it to the level that you are. It's incredible.
Appreciate you, bro.
Yeah, of course. No, I see. I love it. So with you taking all this, really stepping into your own, pursuing schools, how did it grow to the level you're at right now where you're traveling everywhere, man? You just told me you're grateful you get to take the next month off of your birthday. I love that. But you're booked, man. Like, so now people are really getting a hold of, oh my goodness, his messages. He leaves as your message is. You want everyone to realize their own legacy, to leave their legacy, realize how much value and worth they have. When you go speak to a school, we'll say, what is the message that you, what is something you can give us right now? You have to give us the whole thing, but what's a message you give that's like light bulb goes off, these kids get it, and the school's like, we're so glad we got Will in the door?
Yeah, bro, that's a really good question. Actually, you're the first person to ask me the question, so this is good. Honestly, man, I think I just always lead with the ingredients to leaving the legacy. And of course, a lot of students don't know what a legacy means, so I tied it to help them to understand, like, yo, at the end of the day, if you get it right now, you ain't got to get it right later. Right? Understanding that, yo, whether you believe it or not, you're going to leave something behind, whether it's good or bad. I want you to leave something that you can be remembered for.
Right.
I pull up different types of people that they can relate to. Right? I'll pull up a Drake. I'll pull up, all these other music artists.
Sure.
Kai Cenat. I'll be like, don't
Right.
you want to be remembered not like him, but have an impact in your own area of expertise?
Right.
Man, yeah, that makes sense. And it never fails, bro. I have tons and tons of students that's coming up to me, tons and tons of students reaching out to me on Instagram, like, hey, well, I needed that. Thank you so much. I just really think that sometimes in the education space, we're overcomplicating things for these kids.
Yep.
We feel that it always has to be textbook, textbook, textbook. Hey, they don't want to learn. They're not listening. Well, let's be honest. Before we can focus on a textbook, we got to focus on the heart book.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
We got to be able to let them know, like, hey, listen, how are you doing?
Mm-hmm.
Get math,
Right.
get geometry. Like, how are you really doing right now?
Yeah.
Maybe even setting up small boxes so that like anonymous boxes that it can drop notes in, and you can read them as the educator and look at them and say, "Hey, okay, I notice X, Y, and Z is dealing with this. Okay, let's have a conversation. Well, let me address this in the classroom so everybody can feel on one accord and know who's real and who's not real." And so I think for me, every time I come in, they bring me in, not because of the social and emotional learning as it pertains to the education language. Right. I think they bring me in because they understand that, one, I'm relatable, I'm vulnerable, and most importantly, I'm willing to go all in while I'm there.
Yeah.
All the time, like I'm not, here to collect a check. I'm not here to even speak. I don't even care about that. For me, Bill, the greatest impact and reward is what I do when I get off the platform. Right? Like, okay, Will, man, I don't have my dad in my life. Yo, Will, man, like, I'm trying to pursue this and I keep getting laughed at for pursuing this. And just really coaching them individually to give them some guidance that can help them.
Yeah.
Help them. They just need that little spark that's going to help them to take it to another level. So I really, at the end of the day, fam, it's just really understanding that, the vulnerability and the relatability.
Yep.
That's the connection right there, man.
100%. And I, to me, I'm not even going to limit that just to the age group for students or teenagers or college students, whatever it is. That's everyone in the world. Everyone's looking for that. And I think as we get older, we tend to bury that. Yeah. So adults listening right now, take what Will just said in the sense of you bring so much to the table just as much. And to connect it to the student aspect, back when I worked in the mental health field in Brockton, I can remember I came into that and I was the new guy. So they gave me all the toughest clients, the toughest teenagers that were pushing back against everything. And I was just like you, like, all right, if I'm going to do it, let's go all in. I'm not going to move away from any challenge. Let's make it happen. And I started graduating, completing these kids, discharging them in 3 months, 6 months time. They've been in the system for like 10 years. And to the point where supervisors like, Bill, how are you doing this so quickly? Like, what are you going about the process with? And it's a therapy aspect, but I can tell this straight up. I never used anything from a therapy class or a book. I was just myself. As you just said, you're vulnerable, you can be yourself, and you can connect. You're relatable. And for students, that's what they're looking for. They don't, as Will just said for people listening, they're not looking for, oh, that guy's good at history, I can connect to him. They're not looking for, oh, that guy can do algebra, I can connect to. No, they're looking for someone that's feels like they feel. They don't have to look like them, but they connect like them. And when they have that understanding of the world around them, essentially it's like, oh, that I'm on that guy's level. I can get it. I connect to his energy, his emotion. Now he understands what I'm going through. Anytime I had a client like that, like I still get texts to this day, and it means the world to me. Like, hey, Shmuel, you helped me out so much, blah, blah, blah. In my head, I'm like, if I really look at it through a psych perspective, what did I do? Because I didn't use the books, I led with the heart. That's where it all comes. That's where the healing comes from. That's what you bring. And as you said, when you step off the stage, that's the greatest impact. That's where, we're not going to use motivation. The inspiration becomes, because inspiration, the root term, in spirit. So something's activating in them that is now moving forward. That one conversation they can have with you after, oh my goodness, I can only imagine after you speaking what that means to these students. And, I've experienced that feeling just as much, but for the energy you bring and to get to reach all these students, well, I gotta say, man, I can only imagine. Like, you have someone on your website for people to go check his website. It's gonna be in the credits of this video. The testimonials of it's the teachers and everything, but the students, oh my goodness, they are so impacted by you. It's incredible, Will.
Appreciate that, bro.
Yeah. Of course, man. So, let's keep the ball rolling with this right now, because you, like I said, you bring so much to the table. You want to leave a legacy behind or you want students to leave their own legacy behind. I think especially that age, people or students or kids, they want to feel important. They want to feel that they're worth the while here. They're not worth less. And so for us to feel worthwhile and realize that we have a power within us, whether that comes through a spiritual aspect, whether it comes through recognizing a gift or a skill set, whatever it is, for us to be able to move forward in that, that's when we realize, oh my goodness, I can actually leave a legacy behind. You know, I don't have to be the greatest basketball. I don't have to be LeBron. I don't have to be Michael Jordan, but I can be good at something, and that's good enough for me. So when you're speaking on that topic, let's build a little bit more into that. For people listening, it doesn't have to be a student, it can be a parent or whatever it is. How do we leave a legacy behind in our own right? What's the steps to do that?
Yeah, that's good, man. So I think number one, you got to understand who you are.
Mm,
I think a lot of students and adults, you have an identity crisis.
yeah, for sure.
If you don't know who you are, you're living in somebody else's identity. So you got to get clear on who you are.
Mm-hmm.
And once you're clear on who you are, then the next step is you focusing on eternity, not time. I
Nice.
think the problem with most individuals, Bill, is that we think that we're spirits living in a body, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're not going to be here forever,
Right.
So because we're not going to be here forever, I think it makes sense to make as much opportunities happen while you're here.
Mm.
So God takes you from eternity, puts you into time, and says, hey, I want you to rule over this specific area until I come and take you out this earth.
Nice.
So if we can really conceptualize and understand that, first and foremost, eternity, I need to think that way. When I'm no longer in time, how do I want my name to be cemented?
Mm.
When we pass away, and we've all heard this before, but for some of you that have not, there's the day you were born, the day you die. In between is a dash, right? Mm-hmm. The day you're born don't matter. The day you die don't matter. It's what you have done with the time that you have given by the Creator,
right?
Your dash.
Mm.
So are you spending time complaining? Are you spending time investing in bad people and wasting your energy on things that's not going to really help you to be remembered? Or are you wasting your energy, your time, and your effort on things that's going to help you to be remembered, to make an impact, to make sure that your kids are straight, your mom is straight, your spouse is straight, the people coming behind you are straight, the next generation straight. So we have to really just audit our mindset and say, listen, I have time, but I don't have time. And I understand that if I understand eternity, then that means I have to leave a legacy that's bigger than myself right now.
Yeah.
And a legacy, all you're doing is exchanging what it is that you've already done on earth that somebody else can pick up later down the line and say, hey, I'm going to carry out this mission. It's just an exchange. That's all we're doing.
Right.
All right. So after we understand that concept, the next thing you have to focus on is that, stop putting things off and do them now.
Right.
See, one of the biggest things that people say on their deathbed is that they say, I wish I took more chances.
Mm-hmm.
I wish I had more time with my loved ones. Because although we say that we're grinding for our family and we're grinding for our kids and we're looking to leave an impact, the truth of the fact of the matter is that sometimes we're grinding so much that we forget those who mean the most to us.
Right.
And so because we're so busy in the moment, we have to come down to earth, bro, and be like, hey, I'm sorry, forgive me.
Right.
Yes, I'm grinding. Yes, I'm doing everything I need to do to make the money, pay the bills, make sure that you all are good. Forgive me for, not really taking advantage of this opportunity to spend time with you.
Right.
It's not a balance, it's a harmony, right? Like these things just need to flow like water, right?
Yeah.
And so I think you really got to get to the point to where you understand that, I'm not putting it off tomorrow, I'm doing it today. And that's the difference between those who are great and those who are average. Average says I'm going to do it tomorrow. The great say I'm going to do it today because I don't know if I'm going to be here tomorrow.
Right.
And once you have that concept, now you move to the next level. Okay, now I got to find somebody to mentor.
Mm-hmm.
Now I got to find somebody that I can impart into. Now I got to find somebody that I can pass the baton to. Because if everything that you do dies with you, you're a failure. So this is why you can't gatekeep. This is why you can't say, I'm going to keep all the secrets with me. The secrets don't belong to you anyway. It came from God. Everything that you have comes from God. So don't think that you're deeper than somebody else. Listen to me. Find people that you can mentor. So for me, I've coached thousands of speakers, thousands of students, thousands of ministers. Like, I have that credibility to when I'm no longer here, they will say things like, man, I remember when my mentor, Will, said this.
Yep.
The kids will say, hey, I remember when my dad taught me this. And I'm going to put this side note in there, Bill. The greatest mentorship won't come from coaching people. It will come from your household.
True.
Right? So don't say that you want to be great in the limelight, be great on stage, be great with the fog machine, be great with the audience, and not be great and make an impact in your very own home.
Right. Yeah.
Because everything starts at home.
Yeah,
And what
for
if
sure.
I look like hitting platforms, pouring into students and telling them live your best life, and my home is in shambles?
Right. Yep.
See what I'm saying? So
For
I
sure.
would say that as well. Find a mentor. I mean, find mentees. Mentor them. Pass the baton to them. And
Yep.
the last thing I would say, yo, enjoy life, though.
Right.
Like, I don't understand how people wake up and they're just mad all the time.
Yeah.
Well, actually, let me wind up. I do. They don't know who they are.
Right.
For the people that know who they are, they wake up. They don't care if it's Monday. They don't care if it's Sunday, fam. They're like, yo, I'm just grateful to be alive and get another day.
For
As long
sure.
as I got another opportunity, God, you don't need to take care of anything. I'll take care of the rest. Just wake me up and let me operate in my right mind, the activity of my limbs, right? Like, there's no excuse. There's people out here who have less than you and making more than you. Not
Right.
in money. I'm talking about in peace and joy
For sure.
and kindness, right? They're taking full advantage of what they have. So don't sit up here and just continue to complain and wake up like you an accident. No, I need you to wake up like God woke you up. Like
Yep.
the Holy Spirit blew his breath into your nostrils over and over and over again to say, wake up.
Hmm.
Go be great today.
Yeah.
Again, we all get the same 24, but most of us don't implement the 24 that we have.
It's true. Yeah.
So that's what I was saying in regards to the steps of leaving a legacy for anyone
Yeah.
out there listening.
For sure. No, I love that, Will. And then I want to even unpack it just a little more in the sense of, because I connected so much of that on so many different levels. And the identity crisis aspect, that's around the world right now. That's every single age. And if we really look at that, we break it down. I love how the final period of that was, you got to look at the joy, the love, the appreciation, the gratitude in the present moments. Those are the true, I guess we can say, resources of life. That's what we bring to the table. That's what we receive from the table. It's not the money. It's not the cars. It's not the house. It's not the picket fence. It's not all the whole 9 yards that people focus on. It's that, to me, the energies, the emotions, everything like that is the true finances of life. Because at the end of the day, that's what we came to do. It's to spread the love. It's to experience the joy. It's to create something out of the present moment. So when we're stuck in an identity crisis, more often than not, we're in an identity crisis because we're focusing so much on the external factors of life, whatever age it is. We're focusing so much on the external, we don't focus on the internal. And if we don't focus on the internal and heal that or grow that or try and appreciate that in whatever form, we don't know who we are. And that's where the identity crisis begins, because we'll focus on so and so or that celebrity or that artist or whatever did this and has that. So we want to follow their footsteps. And it's great to follow someone's footsteps, but if you're doing it in the shadow of them without being yourself, you're putting the mask on, you're never going to know how much strength is truly there. So when we focus so much on the external, we miss out on the internal. And the internal, for people listening right now, when you start to break it down, as Will said, and you focus on how you can show up in this moment to be the best version of you. Because if we want to break down the other aspect we'll touch on, which is the concept of eternity, a lot of us grew up in school with the timeline on the wall or whatever it is, whether it's the past 1800s to right now 2025, and we look at it in a horizontal line. In reality, that's not what time looks like. All time is, all your past is, all your future is just present moments stacked up on top of each other. So if they're stacked up on top of each other, how can I make this moment here and now to the best of my ability? So Will and I in this moment right now are creating some piece of content that you can listen to, that you can take with you, that you can move forward, that you can inspire yourself with, to grow with. So we're using the best of our moment here and now. And then whenever we log off of this, Will is in another moment. Bill is in another moment. We essentially go moment by moment. And if we can make the best of that moment, that opportunity, that to me is what knocks on the doors of the blessings that we pray for. Because our actions are the ones that opens the doors we pray God to open. We have to get up and get moving to get it to open. However, he's filled us with all the power necessary to be able to open that door. We can knock on it, we can pray on it, we can knock on it, we can do what we do. But until you get up and use what he put in you, which could be your love, which could be your gratitude, which could be your joy, which could be your laughter, which could be your skill sets, your words, your thoughts, whatever form. I always come back to your creativity listening right now, in whatever form it looks like for you. That's your key to open up the next door of your life. And when you start to act on that creativity, whether it is music, whether it is art, whether it's however you show up for your kids or whatever it looks like, that to me is using the best of yourself in this moment to be able to open the door of the next moment, and all the blessings start to pour out upon you. That's how I start to see those scriptures come into our lives. But Will, I love how you are able to bring into your messages the scripture, the Holy Spirit. to how, because at the end of the day, you said it yourself, that's the hand that's on your life. And, you know, that's open door after door because you acted on everything that you believed was placed inside you. That's phenomenal.
Appreciate you, bro.
Yeah, seriously, man, right? But you've, as you said, you're using the most of what God gave you to help everyone. You said get mentees. You want to build on that. You help students for sure. You help all these schools, you help leaders, but you also help speakers. You found all the gifts that you grew and elevated in yourself, and you're like, how can I give back? So let's step into that right now. As much as you're helping schools, how are you helping speakers just as much?
Man, that's good, man. I think for me, I don't ever want a speaker to go down the road that I went down, bro.
Mm.
Whew. It took me 5 years to get paid, though. 5.
I gotcha.
I'm like, yo, this is crazy, though. And the reason why is because I kept trying to figure it out. When it comes down to the core of it, fam, like I kept trying to figure it out. YouTube this, free masterclass this,
right?
Ebook download. I'm like, yo, I'm not getting what I need.
I
don't
sure.
think the copy's persuasive, right? Obviously. I'm sitting there, I'm just like, man, like nothing's not moving. And I said, man, like, you know what? Something's got to change. And I had to make an investment in myself. And, you know, it was for 2 days in Atlanta, bro. And I sat there and I learned the business side of it.
Yeah.
You know, because a lot of us, you know, we have information, but information without implementation leads to frustration. Right. And so a lot of us, you know, one of the things I tell a lot of speakers is like, yo, first and foremost, I was grinding so hard for 5 years, fam, that I didn't even know you can get paid to speak. Let's set that there. I didn't even know you can get compensated. As soon as somebody said, hey, you know, are we able to pay you $400 to do a 7-minute, you know, commencement? I was like, huh? Come again? Yeah. We want to pay. I said, oh, you should never told me that. I said, oh,
doors open.
Oh, I said, okay, Lord, okay, I guess the 5 years and the work that I put in, you're rewarding me.
Yeah.
And I struggled, bro, with charging more because, you know, I'm a minister. You know, I love God. I never wanted to put a price tag on it.
For sure.
And I remember the Lord gave me this revelation, said, son, I've given you a gift so you don't have to beg. All right, so your gift is the actual opportunity that you can create revenue. So you don't have to keep coming to me and asking me simple, dumb prayers like, God, make me a millionaire. God, make me 6-figure. God, make me more money. God, like, no. Everything that you need is already inside of you, Will. Now you learn it, you master it, you refine it, you tweak it, you polish it, and then you give it to somebody else.
Right.
So as I'm on the road speaking, now I'm starting to get DMs from different types of speakers. Hey, I want to learn how to speak. Hey, I want to learn how to start a speaking business. I was like, okay, I don't know where to go from here, but I'm like, okay, God, what do I do? Well, look around, Will. What do you have? At that time, Facebook group, PayPal. All right, Lord. Your voice, add him to the PayPal group. I mean, add him to the Facebook group, and then jump on a Zoom call. Yeah. And I've been doing it for over a decade, coaching.
Wow.
So for me, I think the number one thing that speakers need to understand is that if you're getting into this game to get paid, you're in it for the wrong reason. Now, you may get a couple gigs here and there, but you're not going to last long because I tell speakers you need spiritual stamina.
Yeah, for sure.
You need spiritual stamina. You need mental stamina. When people continually always telling you not interested, no,
true,
you don't have a budget. Now you're like, man, like this sucks. I'm gonna go do something else. And this space is completely different. This is not the coaching space. This is not the credit financial literacy space. This is not real estate. The speaking industry is a whole different beast.
It's true.
And it goes on two things, fam: relationships and data. The more relationship I have, the less I need to market because they do the marketing for me. The more data I have makes me more of an expert, not just my talk. How can I sit with a decision maker and say, hey, by bringing us in, we will decrease disciplinary issues by 10 to 15%.
Right.
Now you're talking my language.
Yeah.
Right? So again, I think that, you know, one of the things that, you know, for me, I just don't want speakers to have to wait 5 years. My job is to cut the learning curve, expedite the results, and help them to build a speaking business without the hustle and grind.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. I love that. It's 100% true for people listening because, well, I'm glad I asked that question, Will, because I've had a lot of guests on here and some of them are already full-fledged speakers. Some of them, you know, that's the next step. And I think a lot of people, not just coaches, but a lot of people that are in a profession where they are bringing a positive impact to people know that they can speak and know that they want to. And so to have so many people on there trying to get to that next area, I can agree with Will because it took me a while to get paid for my gigs just as much because you go into it blind. But as Will just said, to have knowledge, to have someone to go to have a mentor to go to that's literally walked all of those paths and hit every single hurdle, you know? And I look at Will, and like I said, Will and I met in a speaker group where we were learning from other speakers. We were understanding the business from other speakers. You got to invest in yourself in that way, because to me, that is when the next door opens. That's like we said earlier, in this moment, how can you make the best of it? And Will, to kind of expand on what you did, when after a couple gigs, people started reaching out to you. So I love it, because the next thing you did was you took a step back and you said, God, how do I do this? What do I do? And he shows you, well, you got Facebook, you got PayPal. Let's use your tools that you already have, that were already given to you, and use it to the best of your ability. I think a lot of us, and I'm definitely at fault of this just as much, a lot of us think that we need to take the next step, we need to go out and buy the next thing. More often than not, that's not the case. More often than not, to take a step back and really, in the moment, find yourself and really think, all right, what do I have at my disposal already that I can use? And probably 10 times out of 10, we have everything we already need, because all of our needs are already met. We are able to achieve those results just as much. But yeah, from one speaker to another, well, I completely agree with you. That's exactly it, It is. Yeah. Right. And it's funny too, because it's different than the corporate world. It's different than the coaching world. It's different than all those areas. And so I love being able to connect with other speakers, because we all get it, and then talking to our friends that aren't in this area, like, well, why don't you just do X, Y, and Z? Like, it's not that simple. It's a whole different game to try and get a speaking gig. And, there's a lot of people out there that believe, which rightfully so, their message is the right message. Yeah. So it's, how do you separate yourself from the rest of the pack? And once you figure that out, again, coming back to identity crisis, when you find your individuality in not just this field, but every field in life, that's when you can fully be yourself. You find your true identity and who you're meant to be. That's when you can walk in your power. And I think that's what God's waiting for all of us, to step out in that, for that matter.
Oh, that's good, bro. That's
good. You've had a bunch of nuggets already, Bill. I'm going to write these notes down when you're talking. So I'll give you some back.
Yeah, man. Honestly, too, man, since we're on the speaking topic, I think for the speakers that's watching this, whether you're inspiring or you've been speaking for quite some time, the biggest thing that I will stress to you is you need to start positioning yourself as the specialist. Because too many of you are playing the doctor role.
True.
And if I'm a doctor, then that means something that's out of my expertise, I'm referring. If I'm a specialist, I'm the only person in this industry that does this, right?
Right.
So a lot of you're comfortable with just prescribing people stuff rather than performing surgery. If I perform surgery, I'm getting cashed out more than somebody just prescribing a Tylenol or Advil or whatever it may be. So you have to ask yourself, okay, what am I the specialist in? And also making sure that you identify the actual pain points that your client is having. Because I think the biggest thing with most speakers, fans, is that they're so caught up on trying to get on stage. And I say there's always two engagements. The first engagement is with the decision maker.
Right.
If you can't get past the decision maker, you're not getting to the decision maker's audience. So I think it would be more important to do the boring thing, which most speakers don't want to do. They want to get paid, Bill, but they don't want to do the research.
It's true.
People want to look at, okay, what's even the mission statement of the actual corporation or the school or the campus, right? Okay, what's their vision, right? Okay, the person that I'm actually having a conversation with, okay, what's one thing that they like? Right? Do they like the Boston Red Sox? If I get on a call and Bill's the principal and I say, hey, Bill, thank you so much for taking time out of your day. Hey, man, tell me about this, man. I see you like the Boston Red Sox, man. Like, wow. Like, do you like the Boston Red Sox when Manny Ramirez and David Ortiz was there? You still like, oh, man, I'm still a full-fledged Red Sox fan. Oh, wow, cool. Right there, I'm breaking the mold, man. Like, I'm building a relationship. And it shows that you took time to actually vet the person and see what is their likes.
Right.
For most speakers, y'all, I'm gonna be honest with you, y'all lazy. Y'all want high-paying gigs, but you're doing minimum work ethic.
It's true.
There's no way. Like, listen to me. If you're working a job and you know what I'm saying, you're like, hey man, I worked 20 hours and I spent the other 20 on the toilet just scrolling on TikTok and Instagram, right? I still need to be paid my 40 hours. Look at you, I got 5 heads. Those who do the work will receive the check. Those who don't, you have no right to complain. Yeah. So that's why I'm telling y'all, become a specialist, because when you're a specialist, you no longer need to chase. You start attracting. So you're
Right.
not having to call as much people. You're not having to send as much emails. More so, you're creating an ecosystem of overflow where people are like, yo, Bill came in, crushed
Right.
it. Bill dominated this. Bill did this. Bill did that. Now everybody coming for Bill
Right. Yep.
because he took advantage of the opportunity. But it all starts offline. It don't
Hmm.
start when you hit the platform. That's the easy part.
Right.
The difficult part is, how do I build this relationship and nail this meeting that I'm having with the decision maker? So the way that you do that, you be the specialist and you present to them, okay, this is your symptoms, this is the problem, this is how we can perform surgery.
Right.
How does this sound to you? We have two types of options, two types of surgeries we can go. We can either go for the knee or we can go to the elbow. Which one works best for you, right? So now you're not giving them, a no end. You're giving them a yes and yes. Which one?
Right.
Let's steer it that way. So I definitely wanted to tie that in as well, because I see so many speakers so quick to give up. And really, you're dope. You're dope at what you do. It's just that nobody knows what you do.
Right. Yeah.
So yeah.
True. That's pure gold. That is 100% pure gold right there. Well, so I appreciate you sharing that with me, but sharing it with the audience right now. If you think about it, the specialist aspect, I think that can work not just for the speaking world, that works for every single area of life. And, even the sales aspect, where you mentioned the Red Sox example, where you talk to the decision maker and, did you like the 2004 one with Manny Ramirez? Did you like the current one? What do you do? That's the psychology of sales for sure, because you're getting into the head of the decision maker. But if we break that example down for people listening right now, if you become a specialist at whatever it is in life, it could be relationships. All right. Like, you have to figure out the game that is just like the sales game, for that matter, and how you show up for yourself. So you become a specialist in who you are. Again, coming back to identity, I think that's probably the overarching topic right now is, I think the world in itself, all of us need to get closer to figure out who we are, because we're so focused on what everyone else is doing. In the speaking world, I know I've crossed this line so many times. I've tripped this up constantly, in the sense of, exactly like Will just said, you don't even know that you're a specialist.
Yeah.
You don't. And people are just like me. Like, I'm a mental health speaker. I can speak to schools, I can speak to corporations, but mental health, the mindset aspect, is an underlying factor. But I don't have enough fingers to count the amount of mental health or mindset speakers or coaches that are out there in the world, because in that regards, until now, obviously, it's like you don't separate yourself. And Will mentioned, all right, well, there's so many great school speakers out there. What separates Will? That's where the data comes into play. As Will said, when I speak to a school, we see a decrease in these areas. We see an increase in morale. We see an increase in self-esteem. But to actually bring fact to the conversation, whether it's a sales or some other aspect of life, is how you back yourself. But as Will said, you got to do the work. No matter what area, you have to do the work. And I think of this where, we're both sports fans in some regards. And it's like, you think of all these great athletes, like they just had the NBA All-Star game and whatnot, but like all these great athletes and everything that are the best in the world at what they do, but they did all of the work. They did all of the work and they got all of the reward, and they continue to do that for any industry, whether it's speaking or whatnot, or for what area of life. We have to put all of the work in, not just, as well, the example you gave was the 20 hours and then sit on the phone for 20 hours. It's like, all right, well, what did you do? And people recognize, like, oh, well, I'm tired. Yeah, but that's a good thing, because when you're tired, you realize you put all the fuels in the tank. You used it all up. Now you see the results come back, because when you step into that form of power in yourself, as Will said, you start to attract it in, because now you're at a whole different level for yourself. That's awesome. Yeah. No, I appreciate you dropping all these nuggets of wisdom, Will. That's the beauty of it. I think that was the best part of all of our speaker calls with Joe, because he would always call you out on all the wisdom that you would share. It's always there.
Yeah. Let me give a little bit more, man. I want to make sure that they're good. I had a call with a speaker client of mine. I want to say last week, and they had an opportunity to speak at this conference. And they were like, "Man, coach, I'm nervous. I don't know what I need to do." And so I said, "Calm down. I said, relax. First and foremost, be grateful that you have an opportunity to present. Number two, the only way that you're going to get better at speaking, we can give you all the tactics, all the strategies. You just got to do it, dog.
Right.
There's no other way. Like, you just got to put yourself, you're so focused on all these frameworks, all this structure. You just got to have fun with it. You got to be you and understand that
Exactly.
as long as I'm me, or there's somebody that's always gonna love me. You see what I'm saying? Everybody ain't gonna be receptive to you, but somebody will. I said, relax. I said, the good thing about it is you got a coach that just doesn't post about coaching. I've actually done this, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I said, the first thing that you want to do whenever you have any type of engagement, be at the door and shake everybody's hand that comes in. That will break the tone. Mm-hmm. The second thing you want to do is go around and have conversation with people separately. You know, why is that important? Because that will be your anchor to go to in the beginning of your talks. Why are you sitting there now? You could be like, hey, Jessica, me and her were talking about how the egg prices is out of this world. Does anybody else feel that egg prices are too much out? You see what we're doing? We're anchoring.
Yeah.
Now we took a stranger and turned him into a cousin. Mm-hmm. Right? Now I could be like, hey, Jessica, shout out to Jessica. I remember we just having a conversation for everybody caught in, and she was just talking about how much she loves being a parent and how much she loves her kids. And anybody here got kids? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Will any of you guys do anything for your kids? Mm-hmm. Question. How many of you can honestly say you're giving 100% right now at this job? See what we're doing? We're anchoring.
Yeah.
Right? Not only that, people are curious by nature. So if I'm walking in, you shouldn't have a blank PowerPoint presentation. You should have a thumbnail that displays a picture of you, all your social media handles, website. Why? Yep. Because before you actually give your presentation, you're gaining followers. People are looking at your content. Not only that, here's why it works so good this way, Bill. If you give a great presentation, I can guarantee you that people are going to reshare it. People are going to tag you. That's what we do. We take all of that data off and we put it in a Google Drive folder and we put the name of the company that brought us in. And when we jump on the post call with them, we want to say, hey, Bill, I just want to say thank you so much for the time to come in here and just make an impact on your corporation. It really means the world to us. And, you know, we see that you're definitely leaving a legacy. Do you have a minute that I can just share the impact that we made together? Catch what I just said, the impact we made together. Without you, this would have never happened. We pull up the Google Drive folder and we go through all the screenshots of the impact that we made. Wait a minute. That's Kristen. Kristen never be speaking. Wait, that's Josh. Josh don't ever speak. Wow. Now we can actually see it and not just hear it. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So things of that nature, just doing those three things will increase your ROI tremendously as a speaker. Because most speakers, you're lazy. You're not going to grab all that stuff. That is gold. And to make sure you gather all that. I don't care if it's even a podcast episode. Like, yo, that is gold. Take that and put that into a Google Drive folder and always have that data that you can use. Because let's be honest, even if you don't have a call with them, you can reach out to another company and say, hey, this is the impact that we made at Wells Fargo.
Yep, right.
We made at Amazon. We would love to bring the same experience to you. Wow, that's good. Wow. So again, don't be lazy with it. Find different creative ways that separate you from every speaker. And I've yet to find speakers that are doing stuff like that, because a lot of speakers are lazy, Bill. They don't want to do. They don't want to do the extra mile, right? There's a passage that says, "If your friend goes a mile, do not go an extra mile with him."
Right.
Do the extra. It's there. There is so much power in just a little bit more. It'll change your life. So yeah.
Oh, I love that. No, that's again pure gold by Will right there for speakers listening and for anyone else listening right now to go the extra mile and really put the effort in. From a speaking standpoint, I love that because again, you're separating yourself. But for people listening that are speakers or want to become speakers, what you're doing is you're growing roots in the decision maker's mind. So the next year, they're probably going to have that same conference because they probably have it every single year. Right. If you created such a positive impact and you proved it to them in the post-event call for that matter, they're probably going to want you back. They're probably going to want that same impact for the incoming workers, or if it's a school, the incoming students, whatever it is, they're going to bring you back because you have it. As he just said, you have that Google folder. Well, remember last year we brought Will in and he did X, Y, and Z, and it really created such a positive impact. Look at all these great results. Yeah, well, he's on the calendar for next year too. It's simple as that because you proved yourself. That's how you double down on yourself in the entire industry. But again, that way it connects to every area of life for that matter, you know? And well, when you were talking, an example came to mind that I think you'll relate to. And you met the example you gave of the speaker that came to you and a little nervous here and there and whatnot, wanting to make sure they're connecting, building rapport, creating impact. I had an event back in 2024, February 2024, speaking at a high school. And I loved it, and the funny thing was the setup of the event was not the we'll say most professional as I anticipated it being. It was 3 straight hours of talking and no real breaks because they just kind of cycled students in. So it was just kind of me, Bill in the center of a gym, walking around a PowerPoint because I was in the center and just wasn't set up correctly. So I was like, all right, well, I'm here. We're going to make the best of this, whatever it is. Go through the entire two straight talks, whatever it is. And, you know, me being the critic of myself that I am, I could sit there and I could have been like, I could have done that better in that one. Could have done this better in this one. But do the entire gig and a student comes running out of the bleachers right at me. And the students are flooding to the next side. Oh my goodness, I love this so much. This is exactly what I've been talking to my friends about. I needed this. Thank you so much for being here, blah, blah. Absolutely incredible. And great conversation with her. She goes back to class, whatever it is. Next group comes in. Go through the next event, blah, blah, blah. And then, I'm sitting there driving home and I'm just sitting to myself like, all right, typical speakers. I could have done this better. I know I got to tweak this for the next one. And the scripture comes to mind. And that's why I want to bring it up to you because I know you get the faith background just as much. Well, the scripture, I'm going to paraphrase it, but the scripture of leave the 99 for the one. I think as a speaker, especially when you said the example you said when we first started talking, the greatest part of you as a speaker, especially for students, is when the gig is done and you get to have those one-on-one conversations. I think that creates such a great impact, one, in the person you're speaking to, but in the speaker themselves. Because for one student out of however many there, or one employee out of however many are there, that you truly reached, you changed that life. That to me is leaving the 99 for the one. You're leaving the pack for exactly the mission you were there for. That one person. So after that gig, when I'm sitting there trying to critique myself and get hard on myself, whatever it is, but that one shows me no matter what happened, everything happened exactly how it was supposed to one, build my confidence, but two, to instill in that girl or that person, whatever it is, what they need to hear. That's why you had the gig. And now you understand it, you learn the lesson, you pass the test, you level up. That to me is what opens doors just as much. Have you ever, and as much as you speak to students or employees right after the event, have you had a moment like that where you left the 99 for that one where it creates such a positive? You mentioned the homeless people you've talked to back in the past where they wanted to kill themselves, or the drug ODs and everything like this. What's another example of leaving the 99 for the one after these events that you've done, where it shows other speakers or listeners right now, that's why we're there. It's like, I remember, I'll say this, I know I just asked you a question, I'll say this and I'll round up my question. One time I was asked, my first speaking gig ever, I was asked before for the decision maker, what's the biggest audience you'd want to speak to, like future wise? And in my head, like, there's no number, a million. I could speak to whoever it is, because in my eyes, one. When my eyes hit one person's, I'm there for them. It doesn't matter how many are in the audience. And that to me as a speaker is the best thing you do. You kind of close your gaze. And that's what empowers that one to one to one to one. But back to my question, Will, what's an example of, like, you go back for the one in that sense?
Man, bro, actually, 4 years ago, I spoke at Chinook Middle School in Washington State.
Okay.
It was a Black History Month assembly. I mean, the place is rocking, bro. I feel like we in the New England Patriots when they had Tom Brady. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I get done with the presentation. There's a line out the door. They're coming down to the last 4 students, and there's this kid that comes up to me. I'm like, hey, man, you look like you play football. You play football, man? He's like, yeah, I play football. I said, so, what's up, man? And literally, bro, he just goes, my dad was, and he just burst into tears and fell into my arms.
Okay.
And I'm holding this kid, and he's crying hysterically. And so I'm just holding him, comforting him, and he can't stop crying. And of course, in that presentation, I talked about how my dad left me at an early age, right? Again, it goes back to the beginning of this episode, right?
Yep.
Vulnerability, relatability. And so, I just, picked him up. I said, man, got a phone on you? Yeah, take my number, bro. However
nice.
I can help you and equip you with whatever it is that you need. And to this day, right, when my team posts on the TikTok side of things, like that video, he's like, hey, that's me. I'm doing so much better now, man. Appreciate you. Thank you for pouring into me. And that's just, the power of just really your authenticity and just being who you are. And so for me, I think that's definitely one of the greatest moments I've ever had in my speaking.
That's awesome. Yeah. That's what I'm talking about. I love those examples, and that's the beauty of it. And if we look at that from the audience's perspective or the individual in the audience's perspective, it's a one-to-one experience. I'm not here with 1,000 other fans or people in the audience. I'm here one-to-one. This is for me. That's coming back to the idea of eternity and the moment by moment living, and so for you to have that example with that student, or the example I have with a student, it truly shows, one, where we are confident who we are, but two, that's the light that's in us that is meant to shine and impact those other people. And I say that for people listening right now, because when you figure out your light, when you figure out your creativity, when you figure out your gift, your skill set, whatever it might be for you, walk in it. And if you feel those doors, if you feel those hurdles, if you feel those walls, believe me, they're going to come crashing down when you take one step after one step after one step, take the action. And that's how Will has got to the level to create, where he's created such an impact for students and speakers and everyone everywhere. That's what I'm doing right now with all I do. It's believe in yourself, find the confidence. And that's when the identity crisis starts to fade away, because you know who you are. That's the perfect area we can bring this to. But, well, I am so grateful to have you on here, man. We'll start to close this whole thing out. I've kept you for an hour or so. It's been an absolute blast talking with you. I love connecting with you. Last few questions we can have for people right now. Yeah. One, let's tell them where they can find you. I'm going to put all your links into the YouTube description and the credits of this video. Where can they find more about Will?
Yeah, honestly, I just tell people go to Instagram, bro. Will is Beast. Go to Instagram. You'll see everything there. Mm-hmm. That would be the best place that you can go. For sure. Okay. And you can check me out on YouTube as well at William Winfield. Yeah.
Perfect. I'll tell you, as you heard that right here, I'll have his Instagram in the credits of this video, the YouTube description, his YouTube. I'll put his website in there too. But, Will, let's one last question. I always love to do this. Actually, I probably got two questions for you, because I now started to add this one to the table. But what's a lasting message you want to leave with everyone before we close this whole thing out?
I think I would honestly say to anybody that's watching this right now, going through a difficult moment, or you feel like you're at the peak of your game right now, and you feel like you cannot be stopped, don't let life pump you. I don't care how high you are right now, and I don't care how low you are. It's what you're doing in those small increments in the middle. What am I doing every single day to reassure, to make sure that I'm never going to be forgotten? And here's the thing, to be honest with you, no matter what accolades you have, nobody cares. You need to work hard. Right? It's also understanding that the greatest enemy of progress is your last success. That's why for us, when we hit milestones, when we hit achievement, like, that's not enough. I'm very hard on myself. I'm very hard on my team. That's not enough. You look at somebody like, Michael Jackson, look at somebody like Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant. It's not enough. Ask Kobe when he was about to win the championship, why are you not happy? He said, is the job finished?
Not done.
The job's not finished yet.
Yep.
And I want you guys to have that same mentality. What's your Mamba mentality? All right? Go out there and ask yourself and say, yo, job's not finished. Every day when you lay down, yes, be appreciative of life, but say, yo, job's not finished. Something else that I need to do. You need to squeeze every ounce of life every single day and leave it all on the line, and still say to yourself, job's not finished. That's not good enough. Let's run it back again, and let's get better and better and better.
Right. Phenomenal. Oh, I love that. It's so true. This is the question I've asked a lot of my guests the past year or so, and I already know your answer because I know your background, but I think you're going to love it just as much. I love asking people for the final question of every recording is, you have reached such a great level for yourself. And as you just said, job's not finished. I'm the same way, in the sense of I'll finish a gig, on to the next one, because I know it just keeps going. And I love every single second of it. You touched on parts of your story, whether, living with your mom back in the day or the homeless shelter, everything like this. You've touched on areas where your life has gone through, and it's brought you to so many incredible places. And since you're at such an incredible place, if you could go back now with the knowledge and wisdom that you have, would you change anything? 100%, right? Exactly. We know where it's brought you. We know where it's brought us, for that matter. That's the beauty of it, where we may have been through struggles. And I say this to people listening right now. We may have been through struggles. You may have been through struggles, for that matter. Trust the process. It's shaping you into who you're meant to be. Will is a direct example of that, where he's been through the down moments. He's been through the ups. He's been through the downs, and look where it's brought him, because he didn't give up on himself. He didn't give up on God. He put the light that was in him, and he shined it as much as he could. That's what we need to end this on, in the sense for people listening, you have a light just as much. Shine it, you know? But, well, I'm so grateful to have you on here, man. I know you got a busy schedule. I'd love to have you back on here at some time for us to talk again. You know, it's been an absolute blast talking with you. But like I said, well, all of your links are going to be in the YouTube description. For people listening, you can go find him, go follow him. If you are a decision maker for a school and you're looking to bring someone in that can inspire students, the last hour, we provide you so much information to how Will can bring so much to the table, and he's got the data to prove it. Reach out to him. Reach out to his team. Talk to him. See how he might be able to help your students, might be able to help your leaders, your educators, whatever it is, get to the next level. The job's not done. The job's never done, right? You're going to keep the ball rolling. But go check his website out. Go check his Instagram out, guys. Everything's going to be there for you. I thank you for tuning in. Please like this message on YouTube and hit that thumbs up button below. Share this message with someone who you feel need to hear it. If at any moment when Will and I were talking, someone popped into your mind, to me, that is a clear-cut sign that they need to hear this just as much. Share it to them and lend a hand to help them. Not to share Will, not to share me, but to lend a hand and help someone else out. That's why we made this channel, to help everyone we can. Share it to them, and please subscribe to Once a Week if you have not already. That number is going up every single week. I'm so grateful for it. It means we're helping as many people as we can. And if you're in need of a coach who can help in any areas discussed today, head to BillyGLifeCoaching.com and set up a free call with me. I'll be right there for you. But lastly, once again, Will, it's been a blast, man. I cannot wait to have you on. Thank you for being here.
Appreciate you.
Awesome. Have a good one, guys. Thanks for tuning in.
You know I've been around and doing it, but now it's my time to shine and start proving it. I'm losing it, I'm moving it. The city is where I'm made, Bostonian flow, I kick it back there. Yeah, I got game, God in a fan way. We the city of the champs, every sport we play. Spit wetter than the harbor, yeah, I'm flowing like the Charles. I be speeding on this beat, call it Turnpike Miles. Yeah, it's Boo signing on, John to the Hancock, and I'm always key, I'm ready to unlock. I be doing big things, don't even have a deal. Yeah, I battle through these bars, yeah, I always bunker hill. I know that any city I go in, that I be flyer than Logan, and I be flying high. I want this shit pumping here all the way to Shanghai. And my name's not Joe, but I'm not your average guy. I be killing